Tasty Cedars, and of course, the Jar Squatter Nation. We are back. Week 10. I can't believe it's week 10. Our third show. It's going to be freaking awesome. So let's dive right into it. But before we begin, I know that a lot of you are feeling down in the dumps because of the election results. It's just a crazy mixed up world right now. I mean, Donald Trump's going to be in the White House. The Cubs are world champions. And if you look at the playoff bracket, your Sherman Oaks Jar Squatters are in the playoff mix. So crazier things could happen, but I don't know. So let's keep the good vibes rolling here. First things first, we are going to, what are we going to do? I think we're going to break down week 10 of the NFL. So let's do that right now. Okay, that's enough of that. All right, so let's take a look at the schedule here. We're obviously getting it in on a Thursday before the Thursday night game kicks off. Cleveland, Baltimore, 44 is the over. Baltimore favored by 8. Obviously, I'm taking Baltimore, and I'm doing this. I'm hedging my bets. I've got Isaiah Crowell on the Browns, and the only other guy that you could possibly play right now is Terrell Pryor. Baltimore, we're going to get to their running back core in a minute. Terrence West, obviously a good pick. Flacco probably is going to be fine. So we're definitely taking Baltimore in that game with the points. Houston, Jacksonville, the poopy game of the week. Super boring. It's not going to be that high scoring. What's going on with Will Fuller? He's probably on our waiver wire. What's going on with DeAndre Hopkins? Probably on the waiver wire. Jacksonville, Allen Robinson finally scored last week, so that's good news. The garbage man is probably going to come to town, and I hope he does, because I think whoever I'm playing, which is Greg, he is playing the Houston defense, I think, but I could be wrong. Kansas City, Carolina, 44 is the over. Carolina favored by 2.5. They did beat my Rams last week. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but to be fair, they only won by 3. Kendricks, did that hit you in the hands? All I can say is we could be 4-4 right now, but whatever. Who am I taking in that game is the question. I am going to take, it kind of depends on Spencer Ware if he's coming back, but right now I'm going to take Carolina plus the points. Denver, New Orleans, 48 is the number. New Orleans favored by 1. This is in New Orleans, or Nolans as they like to say. I'm going to take easy, breezy, beautiful Drew Breezy and the boys. If you're playing Michael Thomas, good for you for picking him up. He is the #1 Saints receiver. And, you know, you still got Willie Snead, smokes weed with Andy Reid and Isaiah Pete, but definitely taking the Saints there. Big Easy, going to do it easy. I think Denver is realizing that there's a couple chinks in the armor. LA at the Jets. Jets favored by 2.5. That's what it's come to, folks. We are supposed to lose against Ryan Fitzpatrick or Bryce Petty or whoever the fuck they have going on. There's also some sort of medical concern with Todd Gurley. He hasn't been practicing the last couple days. They say it's just rest, but I picked up my boy Benny Cunningham just in case. And who else? Dude, Brandon Marshall. I feel bad. I tried to get him away from Jeremy earlier this year. It didn't happen. Thank you for not trading. Let's move on to Atlanta, Philadelphia. This is tied for the highest over of the week against Philly. So Atlanta goes into Pennsylvania. We will see what happens there. Philly, this is a pick'em. 49.5. I'm going to take ATL because I got my boy Matty Ice to Julio. Julio. So we'll see what happens there. But I guess I gotta stop. When I watch these videos back, I see what I tend to repeat a lot. So is one, and we'll see what happens is another. So let's see if we can curtail that. Minnesota, Washington. This one's kind of boring too. 42 is the over. Washington favored by 2. The backfield in Washington, they're saying it's going to be Rob Kelly over Matt Jones. And Minnesota, what's going on with dude? Three-headed kind of beast in Minnesota. You got Asiata, you've got McKinnon, and now you've got the re-emergence, he still exists, Ronnie Hillman. So what's going to happen there? Hopefully you don't have any of them in your lineup. That's what happens there. But I will take Washington with the points. Green Bay, Tennessee, 48 that's a pretty high scoring game. DeMarco Murray has been on fire. Derrick Henry is apparently out. Green Bay gets James Starks back this week. So we'll see what happens. Damn it. We will see what happens then. I can't help saying it because that's what you say. Aaron Rodgers is, in some people's eyes, the #1 quarterback this week. So I am excited to see if he is able to perform that way. Hopefully not, because he's on Greg's team. I will take Tennessee. That is my crazy lock of the week. I'm taking Tennessee over Green Bay. I think there's something going on with that locker room. Hopefully Horty Nelson can get him back on track. All right, moving along here. Chicago, Tampa Bay. Chicago in Tampa Bay tried to pick up Mike Evans in a trade from Jeremy. He wasn't having it. He wasn't taking the garbage I was giving him, but that's okay. I understand. Chicago's better than we think, and my boy Jay Cutler is going to be throwing to Alshon Jeffrey. Goodbye Cameron Meredith. Goodbye third option. It's going to be the all Alshon Jeffrey show. I promise you that. And Chicago is going to win in Tampa Bay. Also, Tampa Bay running back. I think it's not Antone Smith because he's hurt. Is it Peyton Barber? Good luck with him, Darren. I assume you have him because you've had the laundry list of running backs that they've had on that team this year. Miami, San Diego. Tannehill goes in, but the Bolo is favored by 3.5. It's in San Diego. I'm saying San Diego's going to dominate. What's his face? Melvin Gordon had that crazy game last week. So I think he's going to return to earth, but he's also going to continue. I'm saying over 100 yards and probably a score. So we'll say, uh-oh, the odds just changed. Let's see if anything changed in what I said. No? Okay. San Fran, Arizona. Wow, Arizona is favored by 11.5. I am thinking, by the way, fantasy-wise, Kaepernick kind of delivered for you last week. I don't know who played him, but Godspeed to whoever did. He actually delivered. We still have something going on with Carlos Hyde, so Dwan Harris, my expert pick of the week, destroyed last week, 18 points, and got me into the playoff bracket. I'm going to say that, 11.5 points. I'm going to say that the pride of San Francisco is going to come through and at least beat the spread. Dallas, Pittsburgh. This is your other high-scoring affair of the week, believe it or not. Roethlisberger looked very bad last week, but Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell kind of laid an egg last week too. I think they're going to rebound here. Dude, Dak Prescott, he's the real deal. He's keeping Tony Romo injured apparently. So, Easy E, Dez Bryant didn't even deliver for him last week, and yet they still scored. We got my boy Cole, the Beasley. Yes, I'm using that joke for a third time because I see Pittsburgh getting a case of the Beasles. I'm calling it for a score, and Dallas is going to pull that one off in Pittsburgh. All right, let's see. Seattle, New England. Wow, this is a heavy hitter. Pretty high scoring too, 48.5 is the over. Seattle is, wow, New England's favored by 6.5. What do you do here, man? Favored by a touchdown. This is the Sunday night game too. And it's moving along. It's moving up to 7.5. So I'm going to say that Tom Terrific is going to get it done. We also have, who's the other running back? Garrett Blunt and Hill is coming back. Is that who it is? I don't know who it is. Let's check the old sleeper bot. I'm not going to bore you with this. Yes, I am. What's going on here? Thank you for your patience. Oh, Dion Lewis, that's who's back, not Hill. Goddamn. So we'll see if he makes a impact in that game. I am going to take Tom Terrific against Seattle, and let's just say CJ Prosise did precisely nothing last week. And then we've got Cincinnati, New York Giants on the Monday night game. AJ Green, dude, still ripping it up. Andy Dalton, for some reason, still on Malachi's bench. And the Giants are favored by 2. Sneaky little, well, we'll get into this later, but the backfield in New York is becoming a little confusing as well. I will take Cincinnati to win that game in the Big Apple. The Bengals will come up big. All right, we've broken down week 10 of the NFL. Now it's time to get to the real important league and time to whip it around. Oh yeah. All right, let's take a look at the standings here. First of all, Grandma's Cream Pie still dominating. 8-1, dude, that's crazy. They had Bortles, and then they picked up Dak at the right time. Everything's going well for them. Worcester Woodcocks at 7-2 alone. I play them this week, and they are our subject of this week's styling and profiling. Then we've got the Tony Danzigs at 6-3 tied up with the Jumbo Package. I want to say something about the Jumbo Package, though. They are a paper champion because they have not scored as many points as basically the top 6 teams in the league. Then you've got tied up at 5-4, the CT Wizards, Keith's team, and your favorite, the Sherman Oaks Jar Squatters. Then we've got Winters coming, LA Jewish Elephants, and a Gronking Tour, remember, still in the playoff picture. They could get in there with a win this week, all at 4-5. The Unemployed Snow Shovelers at 3-6. I guess something could happen there. And then we've got the Lone Rangers and the Mouth Hugs at 1-8. Feeling down in the doldrums. I would say probably feeling even worse than Hillary Clinton right now. So, what does that mean playoff-wise? Well, we've got 6 teams in the playoffs. We've got Grandma's Cream Pie with a bye, the Worcester Woodcocks with a bye, the CT Wizards would be facing Jumbo Package at this point, and then the Sherman Oaks Jar Squatters, ding, and the Tony Danzigs would be facing off. So that's where we're looking at in our league. Let's take a look at the matchups this week. I already said that I'm going to be facing Greg's team. The Snow Shovelers will be giving up an easy loss to the Jumbo Package, so look for the Jumbo Package to be 7-3. Grandma's Cream Pie and the Tony Danzigs. Now this is a matchup. I can't wait to see what happens there. And it's supposed to be a close one. Gronking to remember and the CT Wizards. That's pretty good, man. Jay is fighting for his playoff life. The Jewish Elephants and Winters coming brother versus brother. And that's probably for a playoff spot as well. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Well, depending on if he has his lineup set, Jeremy is set to demolish the LA Jewish Elephants. And then finally, oh my God, the Mouth Hugs and the Lone Rangers. How does this keep happening? 1-8 versus 1-8. Who cares? Now, it's time for our favorite new section of the show, Styling and Profiling. Okay, we're going to go into the Worcester Woodcocks this week. The reason that they are on this section of the podcast, or video, or whatever you want to call this thing, is because they put a comment in about the grading system of profiling, styling and profiling. So I'm going to profile them even though I'm facing this week. Before we get into that though, I have a rebuttal to Mal, who said that my grading of B+ of his team is incorrect. But remember, your team has to be perfect to get an A. Your receiving core is not that great, and thus the B+. I would be happy with a B+, and so should you. Let's take a look at the Worcester Woodcocks. We're going to assume that he's got his lineup set up because it's Thursday. He's got Aaron Rodgers, cannot complain. Matt Forte has had a little bit of resurgence. Here's where we get into a chink in the armor. Ryan Matthews, I got news for you. You've got him as an RB2. I guess he is an RB2 on his own team because Darren Sproles is the real #1 over there. His flex is Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham! I think I even have a sound effect for that. Let's see. Odell Beckham! It's just me, so I guess it.
How about them football?
All right, let's take a look at the wide receivers. He's got Senior, Steve Smith, El Senior, coming back. Did he play last week? I don't think he, oh, he did. 7 points, can't complain. He's a middle of the road kind of guy. So, and then Rashard Matthews, dude, he had a monster game last week, and he's probably gonna do it again this week because he's playing Green Bay, and their secondary is not all that good. I'm a little nervous about that. His tight end is Tyler Eifert in the poopy, shitty tight end catalog that we have. He's definitely in the top 5. Texans D against Jacksonville. I know what he's doing there, but if I know anything about the garbage man, he's going to make him pay for that. And then Stephen Hauschka. So really a beautiful lineup, except for a couple. You know, his wide receivers are not top tier, and Ryan Matthews is an RB3. Michael Crabtree on the bench, but he's got the bye. That's why he's not playing him. Theo Riddick. Kirk Cousins is his backup QB. He's got the Beasles. Dude, you got to start the Beasles. I shouldn't be saying that. Cowboys D against Pittsburgh. I understand that because the over is so crazy. And Jay Witt, the tight end. Dude, you're playing tight. He's got Tyler Eifert and Jason Witten. I am going to go out and say this team is a B. So that's what we got going on there. Now, I know that we're getting into the holiday season, and so I just want to talk to you about when Christmas comes early.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You know what this song reminds me of is the frigid, desolate landscape that I call the Tasty Seed waiver wire. So let's take a look at what we've got and see if I've got any gifts for you on the waiver wire. We've got Paul Perkins. He is available. You might want to pick him up because they're saying that he might actually be equal split carries with Rashad Jennings. I would look into that. Dontrell Inman, dude, he's projected for 8 points this week. He'll get you 7 to 6 every week, so if you need an emergency plug in there. And then the other guy I wanted to talk to you about is Kenneth Dixon. You should check him out because they're going to be splitting the workload too. I know he didn't do anything those 8 carries last week, but they're playing Cleveland. So it's Cleveland. And I think that is all we have for this week's Tasty Seed show, whatever you want to call this. Until next time, if you want to be styled and profiled, just make sure to put a comment in the section underneath the video. And I think that's it. Till next time, good luck. See you on the waiver wire. And I think that's all I have to say. So we will see you guys later.